or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradiobreathing.org.
Hello, this is Jim Michaely, and for the next hour I'll be reading from the June 16th issue of the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Let's take a look first at a story about summer fun at the Frank E. Merriweather Library. The summer program for 2026 will begin on July 4th, 2026 through August 14th, 2026 at the Frank E. Merriweather Jr. Library Branch located at 1324 Jefferson Avenue. Unearth a Story is this year's theme and gives kids from the community to learn about dinosaurs, fossils, and volcanoes during the month of July. To start the summer activities off, there will be a dinosaur T-Rex party on June 30th, 2026 from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. At this party, kids will play games, do crafts, and other activities in the children's section of the library. For this event, registration is required, and parents can sign up for this portion of the tea party. Kids that drop in will be welcomed, however, the seats, treat, and goodie bags will go to the registered children first. Registration for this event will begin on June 1st, 2026. Every Tuesday is Crafternoon, starting July 7th, 2026 through August 11th, 2026. Kids can come during library branch hours from 1 to 7 p.m. in the children's section of the library. The scheduled times for Crafternoon are as follows. July 7th, kids will make cardboard stand-up dinosaurs. July 14th, kids will create salt dough fossil puzzles. On the 21st, kids can enjoy making bubble wrap dinosaurs. And on July 28th, 2026, kids will look forward to creating a woolly mammoth. There are also two special events planned for July. The first one is a live show by Repco Wildlife on July 18th at 3 p.m. Dig In with Penn Dixie is the second feature on Thursday, July 30th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Registration for Dig In is required for this event and will begin starting July 10th. For August 4th, 2026, kids can make a 3D volcano, and on August 11th, kids can make dinosaur eyes. To close out the month of August, children can register on July 27th, 2026 to make homemade volcanoes from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. All summer long, new features will be added also as part of the summer program, such as a scavenger hunt, new matchups in the library's favorite dinosaur bracket, and other new surprises. Every day, that is Monday to Friday all summer long from 12 noon to 1 p.m., kids can have lunch at Merriweather Library. Lunch is available for anyone 18 years or younger. All meals must be eaten at the library, and it is first come, first serve. Special Saturday events will be the Sensory Saturday, where kids can come and get hands-on experience in digging for fossils, breaking baby dinosaurs out of their eggs, and other sensory-based activities. This event will be July 18th, 2026, August 1st, 2026, and August 15th of 2026. This event is designed to allow kids to touch, mold, and feel the materials in the library from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Scouting is not the only organization that awards badges. Here at this library branch, kids can earn various summer achievement badges for different activities. Kids can earn badges for keeping a reading journal with time spent on reading a different variety of books, participating in the summer program, scavenger hunt, craft days, and other special events. Completing special challenges like voting in the favorite dinosaur bracket. To find out more information about the summer program at the Frank E. Merriweather Library, please contact Ms. Heather Birmingham, the children's librarian, at 716-883-4418. All children in the community and city are welcome to participate in summer camp. Look forward to seeing you this summer. Delta Sigma Theta to premiere a documentary honoring 8 Buffalo women. In a historic first for the Buffalo alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc., the chapter premiered its inaugural documentary, Pillars of Our Legacy, a powerful original production that preserves the stories of 8 distinguished members whose leadership, professional excellence, and community service have helped shape generations across Buffalo and beyond. The one-time public screening took place on Saturday, May 30th, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Roswell Park Research Studies Center, Hone Auditorium, located at 665 Elm Street in Buffalo. The event was free and open to the public. Produced by the chapter's Arts and Letters Committee in partnership with its Heritage and Archives Committee, Pillars of Our Legacy is the first documentary film of its kind. It was produced by a Delta Sigma Theta chapter in the upstate and western New York region. At a time when communities across the nation continue to improve important conversations about Black legacy, equity, and historical preservation, this film captures and preserves the oral histories of 8 women who have each dedicated more than 50 years of service in Delta Sigma Theta sorority, while making lasting contributions in education, healthcare, business, public service, civic leadership, and philanthropy. The women who were featured in the film include Dr. Joyce Harrington, who was an award-winning educator and school leader who helped advance special education curriculum and student support services. Dr. Lillian Williams, nationally respected African-American historian and co-founder of the Afro-American Historical Association of the Niagara Frontier. Dr. Thomasina Stenhouse, former IRS executive and global leadership trainer, recognized for service leadership across Buffalo and beyond. Allie Freeman, clinical social worker and the oldest member of the Buffalo Alumni Chapter, with 72 years of service in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc. Dr. Bonita Durand, 10th president of Buffalo State University, and recognized as the 2024 Power 200 woman and Power 100 leader of color. Gertrude Burke, veteran educator who taught children in Virginia after public schools were shut down to resist integration. Dr. Maddie Rhodes, retired U.S. Navy lieutenant commander, nursing professor emeritus, and founder of the Dr. Maddie L. Rhodes College Preparatory Program. Dr. Yvonne Hargrave, an educator and school administrator, recognized as Buffalo's first African-American female superintendent. For more than 5 decades, these extraordinary women have exemplified the principles of sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action through their unwavering commitment to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc., and the Buffalo community, said President of the Buffalo Alumni Chapter, Sharon Sanford. We are honored to celebrate their legacy and preserve the stories of women whose leadership and service continue to impact generations of sorority members, leaders, and communities throughout Western New York. Through intimate interviews, rare archival photographs spanning the 1950s through the 1970s, and personal Delta memorabilia collected across 5 decades, Pillars of Our Legacy offers an unprecedented look at the women whose leadership helped strengthen both the Buffalo Alumni Chapter and the broader Western New York community. Community members, supporters, and local leaders are invited to express and experience this historic celebration of local leadership and legacy, featuring a red carpet welcome, a curated legacy exhibit highlighting each honoree's life and contributions, special remarks from chapter leadership, and the exclusive screening of Pillars of Our Legacy. Here's a story titled Niagara Organizing Alliance for Hope to Host Northtown's Juneteenth Celebration at Island Park. Williamsville, New York. Niagara Organizing Alliance for Hope is proud to announce a community-wide celebration in honor of Juneteenth, the federal holiday commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the United States. Hosted by Niagara Organizing Alliance for Hope and chaired by their executive director, Denisha Scott Warren, Esquire. The event will take place on Saturday, June 20th, 2026, from 12 to 5 p.m. at Island Park, which is located at 5565 Main Street in Williamsville. The celebration will include co-keynote speakers Dr. Kimberly Wooten, MD, FACS of Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, and attorney Terrence D. McKelvey, Esquire, and special guest speaker Saladin Allah from the Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center. Live entertainment featuring the Colored Musicians Club, She Drums, line dancing lessons, Bring Your Fans, Bishop Jeremiah Snell and the Greater Joy Ministries International Quartet. The Crusaders and the Bucks Lady Steppers drill teams will be there. Fun activities for children from crafts to Princess Pretty Beauty Bus. The event details: it's the Northtown's Juneteenth celebration, again on Saturday, June 20th, 2026, at Island Park, which is at 5565 Main Street in the village of Williamsville. Chaired by Denisha Scott Warren, Esquire, admission is free and open to the public. Food vendors will include Auntie's Breaking Bread, Sunshine Vegan Eats, Classic Soul, Twisted Icy Slushies, which is non-alcoholic, Sweet Treats of Western New York, and Lemon Love. You can shop at local artisans and vendors like Paparazzi Jewelry, Lady Glow, Unique Boutique, Lisa's Teas, SC Pretty Boutique, and All Things Arts. Professional groups and representatives will be there from New York Statewide Senior Action Council, UB Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, the Erie County Minority Bar Association, hands-only CPR training, courtesy of UBMD Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, and the National Association of Black Social Workers. Enjoy family-friendly activities and opportunities to learn about African American history, culture, and heritage. All are welcome and encouraged to attend this free admission event, which aims to foster unity, resiliency, reflection, and celebration. For more information, please contact Denisha Scott Warren, Esquire, at DANESSIA@verizon.net, or you may call at 716-628-2486. Join us as we honor history, celebrate culture, and build a stronger, more inclusive community. The Buffalo Niagara Honor Flight will take to the skies. The Buffalo Niagara Honor Flight will take to the skies early Saturday morning on June 13th with Washington, D.C. as the destination. That has already occurred. They've already taken off. Veterans and their chaperones were treated to complimentary meals and a tour around Washington, D.C. to see the many memorials and sites. The tour will conclude and the veterans will then fly back to Buffalo, New York. There's a picture of some of the attendees, which include Marina Woodlock, Dr. John Long, and Mr. Harris. Also Jerry Daniels, someone named Donna, Mr. Davidson, Addie, and Tom Petrie. Those were a mix of people from the organization, Buffalo Niagara Honor Flight, and the honored attendees. There's also a picture of Dr. John Long and an unnamed program participant. It looked like a wonderful time was had by all. There are also some lovely photos of the Juneteenth Festival 50th Anniversary Gala, photos were taken at the 50th Anniversary Gala of the Juneteenth Festival, which was held on June 5th at the Classic 5 Banquet Center, located at 2425 Niagara Falls Boulevard. Caron Crump serves as the president, and Betty Jean Grant is the chair. There's another column in the paper with more details on that. We'll read that in a bit, by Dr. Ava Doyle, her Eye on History column. We'll read that shortly, but there's lovely pictures of some of the attendees: Chief Clifford Bell, Valeria Cray, Frank Merriweather III, Betty Jean Grant, and Attorney General Letitia James was also there, as was Representative Tim Kennedy, Jeremy Zellner, Zanita Everhart, Jesse Doyle, and Dr. Ava Doyle. Everybody is smiling and it looks like the wonderful time was enjoyed. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And here's that column I just referred to. It's by Ava Doyle, her Eye on History feature, and it says Juneteenth 50th Anniversary Gala was a great success. The Buffalo Criterion was recognized among local media. The 50th anniversary of the Juneteenth Festival got off to a grand start on Friday, June 5th at the Classics 5 banquet at 2425 Niagara Falls Boulevard. It was a star-studded event with area politicians, religious leaders, community members, and media personalities. The keynote was given by New York Attorney General Letitia James, and I had a chance to speak briefly with her. Her message to the audience was to keep on marching forward. The theme of the gala program was Celebrating with Style and Purpose, Past, Present, and Future. The president of the Juneteenth Board is Caron Evan Crump, a longtime community worker. The event chair was former Erie County legislator Betty Jean Grant. Special guest was Majority Leader of the New York State Assembly, Crystal People-Stokes. Remarks were from former council member and business leader Clifford Bell. The invocation was given by Pastor Mark Blue, president of the NAACP. The history of Juneteenth was presented by Doug Ruffin. There were also spoken words by Sister Vonetta T. Rhodes and Wayne Rhodes Carter, and Carla Thomas. Special recognition was paid to the Honorable Deacon from Shiloh Baptist Church, Judson Price, who has been a part of Juneteenth for many years and is now 96 years old. The Drums of Freedom were led by Ras Jomo. Others who played significant roles include filmmaker Sandy White, Sherry Sherrill, and Stacey Grant, as well as Vicki Grant. The following received the Juneteenth History Keeper Awards. Buffalo Criterion received the Frank Merriweather Award. Community Challenger, Alnisa Banks. Eye on History, Dr. Ava M. Doyle. And the Buffalo History Channel, Doug Ruffin. Please note there were too many features to list in this article. Please come out and celebrate Juneteenth Festival last weekend on June 13th and June 14th, 2026 at Dr. Martin Luther King Park. For more information, you can visit buffalojuneteenth.com. Happy Juneteenth. Here's a story that says, BOE announces early voting and Election Day poll site changes. The Erie County Board of Elections Commissioners Ralph M. Moore and Howard J. Johnson, Jr. announced 8 permanent poll site changes effective for the June primary and November general elections. Each change received pre-clearance approval by the Office of New York State Attorney General. Early voting has been made available in the town of Lancaster at the Depew Municipal Building at 85 Manitou Street, and that replaces Our Lady of Pompeii. Voters may use any of Erie County's 38 early voting locations, regardless of where they reside. Primary general election day in the city of Buffalo, locations include the Broadway Market at 999 Broadway, which will replace the Nativity Miguel Middle School. The Polish Cadets of Buffalo at 927 Grand Street will replace Niagara Frontier American Legion. This is a new poll site. West Side Bazaar at 1432 Niagara Street will replace the Coronation of the Blessed Virgin Mary. This is also a new poll site. In the town of Cheektowaga, the Cleveland Drive Presbyterian Church, located at 735 Cleveland Drive, will replace the Maryvale Drive Presbyterian Church. In the city of Lackawanna, the LMHA Baker Homes, which is on 135 Odell Street, is replacing St. Anthony's Church, also a new poll site this is. And in the town of Lancaster, the North End Fire Hall, located at 24 West Rollard Avenue, is replacing Our Lady of Pompeii. Going over to the town of Tonawanda, the Westchester Apartments at 55 Ralston Avenue is replacing Knox Presbyterian Church. Voters affected by these changes have been notified by mail. The public may visit elections.erie.gov or call 716-858-8891 for more information. Early voting runs from Saturday, June 13th through Sunday, June 21st, and primary day is Tuesday, June 23rd. A caregiver's grant to expand aging in place awareness across Western New York has been awarded. Niagara Falls, New York. A Better You Lifestyle, Inc. and the Western New York Aging in Place Council are proud to announce that they have received the Caregivers Grant from the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation through the Community Foundation for Greater Buffalo to support a series of Aging in Place awareness workshops and a regional Aging in Place summit scheduled for fall of this year. The grant will allow both organizations to provide educational programming, resources, and community awareness initiatives focused on helping older adults, seniors, veterans, caregivers, and family members safely remain in their homes as they age. The mini Aging in Place awareness workshops are designed to help prolong independent living, improve home safety, increase comfort and security, and reduce the financial burdens often associated with premature placement into nursing homes or rehabilitation facilities. The Aging in Place Awareness Workshops and Summit keynote presentation, which is titled Making Your House, Your Home, Preparing for Aging in Place, will be led by Willie A. Price of Willie A. Price Speaks, LLC, along with several local organizations and community resources. Mr. Price is recognized as the only CAPS, which stands for Certified Aging in Place Specialist, and Universal Design Essentials Rehabilitation Specialist in the country, bringing a unique combination of expertise in aging, accessibility, rehabilitation, and home safety education. Our goal is to bring greater awareness, education, and practical solutions to families throughout Western New York and beyond, said Price. Too many older adults and veterans are unprepared for the physical, financial, and emotional challenges that come with aging in place. These workshops are about helping people prepare early, remain independent longer, and improve quality of life. The first Aging in Place Awareness Workshop kicked off on June 5th, 2026, during the New York State Prince Hall Grand Lodge Community Workshop Series in Rochester. A second mini-workshop is following on June 18th, 2026, at the Delavan Grider Community Center in Buffalo. Then there'll be another one on June 24th at the Westminster Commons and the Richmond Summer Senior Center. More workshops are being planned for the Southtowns and Niagara County in the near future. Additional workshops and summit details will be announced throughout the year. For more information, partnership opportunities, or workshop scheduling, contact WNY Aging in Place Council's email address, which is wnyAginginplace@gmail.com. That's WNYAGINGINPLACE@gmail.com. Taking a broader look at issues outside of this immediate city, there's an article titled Manhattan DA Bragg Continues Gun Violence Prevention Efforts with Gun Buyback Event. This story originally ran in the New York Amsterdam News, written by Tandy Lau. New Yorkers can turn in their firearms for money, no questions asked, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on June 13th at the Upper West Side's Central Baptist Church through the Manhattan District Attorney's Gun Buyback Event. The event was in partnership with the NYPD and offered up to $1,500 in prepaid gift cards per participant. Combating gun violence remains a focus and requires more than prosecution. It demands community investment, partnerships, and meaningful engagement to build trust and improve public safety, said Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg in an emailed statement. Our comprehensive approach, including gun buybacks, is making a real impact in Manhattan, with a 60% decline in shootings as of late May since I took office. Gun buybacks are a critical violence prevention strategy that safely removes firearms from our communities before they can be used in a tragedy. Every gun turned in reduces the risk of a potential act of violence or an accidental shooting, and I encourage New Yorkers with firearms to turn them in on June 13th. The buyback paid $500 per operable handgun or assault rifle, $200 per 3D printed ghost gun with a maximum of 2, and $75 per operable rifles or shotguns. Participants will only receive payments for up to 3 guns after a department specialist's inspection. Non-operable guns and air or fake guns can be turned in for $25. Those must be placed in a bag or a box. Bragg's usual summer gun violence prevention efforts, like the buyback, continue as he starts his second term in office. The Gun Violence Prevention Grant dates back to Bragg's first year in office, and it enlists local Manhattan nonprofits to engage youth in quality programming, often in catchment areas where shootings are traditionally more frequent. Bragg also recently announced another round of grants for local community-based organizations to keep youth busy during the hottest and often deadliest months. Harlem programs that received grants this year include Jackie Rowe Adams' Harlem Mothers and Fathers Save, and the Living Redemption Community Development Corporation. Preventing gun violence is not only about enforcement, it is about creating pathways, building trust, and ensuring that our youth have access to safe spaces, mentorship, creative expression, and meaningful opportunities throughout the summer month, said Assemblymember Al Taylor in a statement. I commend District Attorney Alvin Bragg and all of the community-based organizations receiving this support for continuing to do the difficult and necessary work of reaching our young people before violence reaches them. Here's a consumer alert. New York State Consumer Protection warns New Yorkers to beware of scams leading up to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Scammers capitalize on these events to steal personal information and money. The New York Department of State's Division of Consumer Protection is warning sports fans to stay vigilant and beware of scammers leading up to and during the FIFA World Cup. Major events attract sports fans worldwide, and they also attract scammers. Common scams include fake tickets, counterfeit ticket sales, phishing attempts, travel scams, fake merchandise stores, fake giveaways aimed at stealing personal data, and fake streaming websites. As visitors descend from around the world with plenty of enthusiasm for their favorite teams, it is also a time to beware that scammers are looking to get ahead of the game and get easy money from unsuspecting fans, willing to pay higher prices, said Secretary of State Walter T. Mosley. Tips to avoid scams. First, pay attention to phishing attempts. Phishing attempts, that's P-H-I-S-H, phishing. Phishing attempts and digital scams often surge around major sporting events as scammers exploit heightened public interest, urgency, and emotional engagement. Phishing emails, calls, websites, or texts often masquerade as official organizers to steal personal information, login credentials, or banking details. Scammers use phishing communications that commonly feature fake ticket sites, fake travel deals, malicious streaming services, and promises of a fake prize, sweepstakes, or lottery wins. To avoid phishing, always verify the source and never click suspicious links, never download unexpected attachments, or provide personal information in response to unsolicited requests. You should buy your event tickets from official sources. Check out the official major sporting organization's website, FIFA, for information on how to buy tickets. Scammers may also create fake websites that look like official ones, so always check if it's a legitimate website by reviewing the URL, the company's contact information, and the website's privacy policy. Scammers often use misleading characters and arrangements in their URL to resemble legitimate-looking websites. Remember to confirm that the website's URL matches the company's name and that there are no unusual spellings. Watch out for fake tickets. Scammers deceive unsuspecting consumers with non-existent tickets that are promoted on social media, fake websites, and online marketplaces like Craigslist, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and Instagram. They may even send you convincing-looking screenshots, barcodes, or confirmation emails. Watch out for resellers who request payment from outside an official ticket platform. Only buy resold tickets through official platforms. Many official ticket sale agents now offer resale options as well. Reputable ticketing platforms have built-in systems that allow resellers to list and transfer digital tickets within the platform, as well as facilitate payment transfers. Unverified sources can be risky. Verify the seller. Research the seller and check for reviews and their reputation online. Check for a physical address and phone number. A legitimate seller will have a real address and a phone number where you can contact them. Also, verify the ticket details. Ensure the ticket details, such as the event name, date, and time, match the official event information. If you are not buying directly from the venue, check to see if the seller is a licensed ticket reseller by visiting our website. Licensed ticket resellers are required to disclose that they are licensed on their website. You can also look up the seller on verifiedticketsource.com to confirm you are buying from a National Association of Ticket Brokers member resale company, which requires its members to guarantee that every ticket sold on their websites is legitimate. Beware of low prices and added fees. Don't let the excitement of finding a good deal on a ticket cloud your judgment. Federal law prohibits unfair and deceptive junk fees for tickets and short-term housing. Scammers may set up fake travel booking services, hotel websites, and group packages that take advantage of high demand for accommodation. Use only reputable official channels to book your travel. Scrutinize suspiciously low prices and avoid direct wire transfers to unknown individuals. Make sure to research the average prices being charged for the event and surrounding hotels, and be careful to ensure that no extra fees are added during your transaction. Remember, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. To report fraud to the Federal Trade Commission, visit reportfraud.ftc.gov. Consider paying with a credit card. Credit cards generally offer more protection than other payment methods like debit cards and payment apps if you ever need to dispute a charge. Scammers often want you to pay with payment apps, prepaid gift cards, or cash, since these payment methods are untraceable and may not allow you to stop payment or reverse a transaction. Transportation. The high cost of public transportation to and from MetLife Stadium is a prime opportunity for scammers to take advantage of fans looking for a lower price. If you see a deal on public transportation ticket prices, it could be a scam. Always be sure to buy your transportation tickets from official NJ transit sources or through the NYNJ FIFA World Cup host committee's shuttle service. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Let's look at the editorial section of the paper. First up, here's one titled, "Freedom Like Fairness Ain't Never Been Free and It Never Will Be." It's by Betty Jean Grant. "It ain't fair," one or the other of my two youngest grandsons uttered to me when a bad community situation or a challenging event finds its way to one or another on Grant's list of things that shouldn't but will usually find a way to go wrong. "It ain't fair," Grant bemoaned when it was his time to walk the dog, but he wanted to keep playing his video game. "Why can't Quentin do it? He ain't doing nothing right now." Grant understands that we all have a role to play in how well a family functions, and that we all must do our part in ensuring that order, peace, and stability thrive in the family unit, and that one steps in and assists if that's what is needed to maintain and improve the relationships among siblings and their parents in their particular family dynamic. A community or a neighborhood is not unlike a family in that respect. Each family unit in that community, whether their particular participation is positive or negative, plays an important part in how healthy or vibrant their household and neighborhood are. If one family does not do its fair share of making sure that they help maintain the areas around their home by mowing their lawn in a timely fashion and picking up trash, the other neighbors may start to notice and may begin to think that, if that family don't do it, why should I? Our beloved Buffalo community is suffering greatly because too many of us who profess how much we love the city, especially the East Side, are not doing more than just talking about how bad it looks and how they don't believe it can be turned around. If those who are saying these things have moved away from Buffalo, they need to hold their comments until they move back in and help us save this city and our youth. Also, it serves no purpose for anyone to be out here bragging about living in a $1.5 million house in Buffalo's suburbs, while the youths who are hearing this are struggling to keep their mom healthy and help her put food on the table, or scrape up enough dollars to pay the rent. The children in these low-income neighborhoods know they will probably get arrested and go to jail for stealing a hamburger and a drink, while their white counterparts will just get a good talking to, and later driven home by the friendly neighborhood police officer. Finally, we have a serious caste problem among black people in this city. Children of those who proudly point to lineage and being among Buffalo's first families to settle here in the early 1830s do not look too kindly on immigrant or migratory families, regardless of what color they are. Those African Americans with their superior mindsets, like those scary white residents of the 1970s, left Buffalo decades ago. Now they only come back to the city to work, to see a play, or to go to church. Here's Frank Gist's column, which is always titled, "Is That Right?" And this week's subtitle is, "The Ballers Rule the World." As I watched the NBA Finals game at Madison Square Garden in New York City this week, the arena was packed to the rafters with Knicks fans who paid between $9,100 and $10,000 for a nosebleed seat. Courtside tickets went for up to $20,000 for the 3-hour event that could have been watched for free at home. The last time the Knicks were in the 1999 NBA Finals, The upper deck seats were $35 to $50 per ticket. It's a perfect example of the growing wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots in America today. Recently, it was reported that the richest man in America, Elon Musk, will become the first individual to become a trillionaire. That's 1 followed by 12 zeros. That's equal to $1,000 billion. That is an unimaginable amount of wealth. The financial pundits predict many more will follow Musk in the $1 trillion boys club. I remember when it was announced that Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, was one of the first billionaires of the tech age. Today, according to ChatGPT, there are 986 billionaires living in America. Today, the top 10% wage earners in America own about 65% of all American wealth, while the bottom 50%, you and me, own around 2 to 3% of all wealth in America. But we aren't supposed to notice that. I remember taking a political science class in college that studied Karl Marx, the founder of communism. Marx wrote the framework for understanding society and history through the lens of class conflict. He essentially predicted that capitalism would eventually implode because of the innate greed of men who would exploit the masses and inspire the proletariats to start a revolution. Also this week, Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner acquired an island to build a luxury resort on Albania's Sazan Island, a former military island in the Mediterranean Sea. Reports put the investment at roughly $1.4 billion, with plans for a high-end eco-resort, including hotels and villas. However, the people of Albania ain't having it, and mass protest has broken out in that country. Interestingly, the island has tunnels and bomb-proof bunkers left over from World War II, the perfect getaway spot for the rich and famous to avoid World War III nuclear chaos and destruction. Somebody knows something big is going to happen, and the world's elite already have a plan on where and what they're going to do when the crap hits the fan. They might have a plan, but there is no plan for the masses in America. Baby boomers might remember the air drills in school, where we had to file into the halls and crouch against the walls and tuck our heads beneath our legs to kiss our butts goodbye in case of an attack. There were also civil defense signs on buildings throughout the neighborhoods, designated as a safe place to go in case of an attack. Kids were told to look for the yellow triangle civil defense signs on buildings if they became separated from their loved ones in an emergency. None of that is even discussed today. I think that the powers that be have no plans to help those without means to find refuge, us lowly proletariats. Here's a column by Ben Jealous titled, "On Juneteenth, I'll Celebrate Black Music at Andrew Jackson's Plantation." The ground at the Hermitage is sacred and stained, and the music made by enslaved people and their progeny is what still feeds this country's hope. This Juneteenth, I will stand at the Hermitage and help celebrate black music. The Hermitage was Andrew Jackson's plantation outside Nashville. I want to be honest about how strange that is. I am descended from slaves and from the men who owned and abused them, the men who denied them their God-given right to freedom. My family was enslaved by the Blands of Virginia. Richard Bland was the famous one. He was a patriot before there was a country. He told the king and parliament that a shackle chafes a man no matter how well you polish it. His young cousin Thomas Jefferson asked him to bring a bill to make it easier to free the enslaved. Bland did it. He was denounced as an enemy of his country. Then he went home and kept his 30. He died still holding them. That is my inheritance. My grandmother, Mamie Bland Todd, is the griot of our family. She carries 200 years of it. Her great-grandfather Frederick was the only enslaved man named in his owner's will, and the will was written to protect him. The man who owned Frederick was his own brother. That is how close the blood runs. Thomas Jefferson is my cousin. He wrote that all men are created equal. Robert E. Lee is my cousin, too. He took up arms to keep my other ancestors in chains. I carry the blood of the man who argued for freedom and the blood of those he would not free. I resent his cruelty. I pray my children show his courage against the men who would be kings. That is the duality of this nation. So I know something about awkward ground. The Hermitage is beautiful. 1,000 acres, a white mansion, gardens, the tombs of the 7th president and his wife. It is also a graveyard. More than 300 men, women, and children were enslaved there. Archaeologists are still finding their graves. The land was native land first. He signed the Indian Removal Act. He set the Trail of Tears in motion. Settlers' bones are in that ground, the bones of the enslaved. The ground is sacred for what is buried in it. It is stained for the same reason, and we are going to sing on it. Jackson owned the people there. He fathered no children, white or black. Betty cooked for him, as her mother had before her. Her son Alfred was born on that land and lived there longer than any man. After freedom came, he stayed. They put faithful servant on his stone. But once a white man told him slavery had its comforts, and Alfred asked him, "How would you like to be a slave?" The man had no answer. For a while that felt like trespassing. Who brings a celebration into a wound? Black music was not made in spite of that ground, it was made on it. The field holler, the spiritual, the work song that timed a hoe. People who were called property made them, and the song said that they were not. Follow the drinking gourd was a map to freedom. They sang it where the men who owned them could hear. Juneteenth is the right day for it. Freedom came late, 2.5 years after it was declared, to people who had been free in the eyes of God the whole time. The day does not pretend that delay away. It celebrates anyway. So I will go. I will stand where Jackson stood and where the people he enslaved stood. I will not soften either truth. I will say their names if they let me. We are more curious now than ever about how we are joined. I have a cousin who descends from the people who owned mine. We are kin. The country is like that. Nothing feeds the American need for unity and hope like the music made by enslaved people and their children. It is the truest thing this country has made, and we are still singing it. So this Juneteenth, on sacred and stained ground, we will sing, and we will remember the oldest truth Mamie Bland Todd ever taught me. Our people were always free. And, oddly, ironically, and even somewhat poetically, it happens to be the same lesson her own slaveholding forebear, Richard, helped teach both his young cousin Thomas and King George. Here's a story titled Alzheimer's Association and Omega Psi Phi Fraternity to host a men's caregiver recognition event in Buffalo. Buffalo, New York, the Alzheimer's Association Western New York chapter, in collaboration with Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Phi Omega chapter, will host a men's caregiver recognition event on Saturday, June 20th, from 12 to 3 p.m. at the Johnny B. Wiley Pavilion at 1100 Jefferson Avenue in Buffalo. Held in recognition of Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month and National Men's Health Month, both held in June, the event will honor and celebrate 10 male caregivers who have demonstrated extraordinary commitment, compassion, and dedication while caring for loved ones impacted by Alzheimer's disease and dementia. The Community Brunch and Recognition Program seeks to shine a light on the often overlooked role men play as caregivers, advocates, and support systems within families and communities. According to Alzheimer's Association Program Manager Jessica Amezquita, Alzheimer's disease and dementia disproportionately impact women and communities of color, particularly African American and Hispanic populations. However, male caregivers are frequently the individuals navigating healthcare systems, coordinating services, and advocating for their loved ones. This event serves as an opportunity to recognize the men who have stepped up and devoted their time, love, and compassion to caregiving, said Amezquita. Community leader and social action chair for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Phi Omega chapter, Brother Anthony Shepard, emphasized the importance of building awareness and trusted partnerships surrounding brain health and caregiving support. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Said Brother Shepard, much of my work focuses on community engagement, public awareness, and building trusted partnerships that directly address disparities impacting Black and Brown communities. Partnering with the Alzheimer's Association is a meaningful step in ensuring our members and the broader community are better informed, supported, and connected to critical resources. This event serves as a valuable space for awareness building, relationship building, and engaging individuals who may already be caregivers or may be at increased risk. The event program will include Master of Ceremonies, Sherman Webb Middlebrooks, who is a Men's Health Initiative Project Manager for the Buffalo Center for Health Equity. There'll be recognition awards honoring participants from the Buffalo Center for Health Equity Men's Mental Health Support Group. An opening prayer by the Reverend Paul J. Thomas of Bethel AME Church. Keynote remarks from Dr. Christopher St. Ville, who is an associate professor at the University at Buffalo School of Social Work. A featured presentation titled Building Stronger Communities by Alzheimer's Association Health Equity Ambassador and volunteer Ian C. Barrett, who is the Chief People Officer at Kaleida Health. Additional caregiver recognition by Terry Say, Program Manager for the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative at Buffalo Prenatal Perinatal Network, honoring fathers and caregivers involved in the Nurturing Fathers program. A complimentary hot lunch catered by Curtis the Caterer will be provided. The event is free and open to the public. Registration is encouraged but not required. Community organizations collaborating on the initiative include Buffalo Center for Health Equity, Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative, Buffalo Prenatal Perinatal Network, Marriage Parenting Program, and the Men's Mental Health Support Group. In the health pages, here's a story titled The Power of Eating Season: Why Foods Like Mango Matter for Our Health, Our Wallets, and Our Heritage. Stories by Sue Sims. As the weather warms and the days stretch a little longer, nature begins offering some of its sweetest gifts. Among them is the mango, vibrant, juicy, and packed with nutrients. Mangoes have long been part of our culinary story, connecting us to Caribbean, Southern, African, and Latin food traditions. But beyond their cultural resonance, mangoes remind us of something simple and powerful. Eating seasonal food is one of the easiest ways to nourish our bodies, support our communities, and stretch our food dollars. Seasonal eating is not a trend. It's a return to what our grandparents and great-grandparents understood instinctively. Before supermarkets carried everything year-round, families relied on what the land provided in each season. That rhythm, spring greens, summer fruits, fall roots, helped shape the dishes that we still love today. When we choose seasonal foods now, we tap back into that wisdom. Take mangoes, which reach their peak in late spring and summer. When they're in season, they're sweeter, juicier, and more affordable. A ripe mango delivers a powerhouse of vitamins A and C, fiber, and antioxidants that support immune health, skin glow, and digestion. For communities disproportionately affected by hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease, seasonal fruits like mangoes offer a naturally low-sodium, nutrient-dense option that fits beautifully into a balanced diet. But the benefits go beyond nutrition. Seasonal foods are often less expensive because they're abundant and don't require long-distance shipping. That means families can enjoy fresher produce without stretching their budgets. In many neighborhoods where access to fresh food is limited, seasonal produce sales at local and farmers markets, mobile vendors, and community gardens can make a real difference. A bag of in-season fruit can cost less than processed snacks and nourish far more. Eating seasonally also strengthens community ties. Neighborhoods are reclaiming traditions of gardening, farmers markets, and cooperative buying. When we choose seasonal produce, we support local growers, urban farms, and small businesses working to bring healthier options into our communities. It's a quiet but powerful form of economic empowerment. And let's not forget the joy. Mangoes bring sunshine to the table, blended into smoothies, tossed into salads, folded into salsas, or eaten simply by themselves. Seasonal foods invite creativity and connection. They encourage us to cook together, share recipes, and pass down traditions. As mango season arrives, consider making seasonal eating part of your routine. Start small. Pick one fruit or vegetable each month that's at its peak. Explore new recipes. Visit a local farmer's market. Bring your children or grandchildren into the kitchen and let them taste the difference that freshness makes. Here is a very simple mango salsa recipe that I use a lot. Serve it with meat as well as fish. It's also delicious on its own, in a salad or with tortilla chips. Don't forget, a ripe mango can be an excellent dessert alternative to cake, pie, or ice cream. Here's the recipe for mango salsa. Take 2 ripe mangoes which have been peeled, pitted, and diced. Also a half of a red bell pepper finely diced, a quarter of a red onion finely diced, 1 jalapeno from which you should remove the seeds and finely dice it. Add those to taste. 1 lime juiced, a quarter of a bunch of cilantro with the stems removed, chopped. Salt to taste, that's optional. And then directions simply say, in a medium bowl, mix all the ingredients together. Adjust the seasonings as required and desired. Let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes for flavors to develop. And then serve it at room temperature and enjoy. This is the Secrets of the Magic City section of the Criterion, and it's a column titled Towards a Better Life by Eva M. Doyle. This is a movie I would like to add to your suggested movie list. It is not an easy movie to watch. It was made some time ago. I put the movie aside and did not watch it until recently. However, with all the things that are going on today in communities surrounding us, it's timely now. It brings up some serious topics. The name of the movie is Secrets of the Magic City. It stars Emmy Award winner Keith David and NAACP Award winner Jennifer Lewis. It was not an easy movie to watch. It is the story of 2 sisters named Tiana and Nia, who are reunited after they are abandoned by their drug-addicted mother. Later they are placed in a home where they experience violence and abuse. Then they are placed with a relative and they vow never to be separated again. When tragedy strikes and the relative dies, they embark on an adventure where they must survive the mean streets of the city. They meet danger, crime, hostility, and constant anxiety. This movie is important because it focuses on the issues that children face in crime-ridden communities. It shows the lost hopes of many inner-city communities across America. In the midst of violence, murder, guns, fights, and other dangers, our children must grow up and endure situations that they have to try to survive. The 2 sisters in the movie become adults before their time. They see a lot for their very young years. We hear about the guns and murder, the drugs and violence. However, what happens to the children in this environment is not often discussed. Many of them do not have innocent childhoods and must face the awful negative influences of living in urban communities. At the same time they are living under these circumstances, they must try to go to school and live normal lives. Even though sisters Tiana and Nia face these things daily, they vow to always stay together. They want to maintain some sort of family relationship. Finally, at the end of the movie, they come face to face with their drug-addicted mother. Their mother does not want anything to do with them and tells them to get up out of here. She is in a drug stupor. One of the girls has a gun in her bag. She takes it out slowly and for a brief moment wants to kill her mother, but she puts it back into her bag. They leave and find a way to another city. They have the address of another relative who takes them into her home. There is hope at the end of the film. Secrets of the Magic City is a film that will leave you unsettled and reflective on the reality of what happens to children who grow up surrounded by crime, violence, and drugs. This columnist rates this film as 5 stars. There are a lot of lessons in this film about the real life of the city, but in the end, they find hope. Hope is all they need, and a chance to survive, and good people to assist them. Here's a piece by Black Press USA Newswire, 10 Assets of Black People. Black parents support positive social identity and high educational expectations. Black parenting is about transmitting positive message about children's cultural background, heritage, and identity, and about holding children to high expectations related to their behavior and academic learning. Number 1, 79% of black households have at least one parent who is employed. This is similar to white households at 80%, based on the U.S. Department of Labor statistics. Number 2, more black children live in a household with a mother who has a BA or higher degree, 22%, than in one with less than a high school diploma, 13%. Further, almost 9% of black people over the age of 25 have a graduate or professional degree. Number 3, almost 80% of black families of preschoolers read to their children at least 4 days a week or tell a story. Early home literacy practices have a positive effect on children's early language and literacy, and later reading achievement and school outcomes. 4, black parents support positive social identity and high educational expectations. Black parenting is about transmitting positive messages about children's cultural background, heritage, and identity, and about holding children to high expectations related to their behavior and academic learning. In line with Afrocentric parenting, black parents emphasize values in their child-rearing practices, such as family interconnectedness, independence, obedience, behaving well, and respecting others. 5, 3 out of 4 black children are in formal early care and education by age 4 and are likely to be in care before the age of 1. Number 6, black children score high for cognitive skills at 9 months old. 7, black children have strong social skills, especially cooperation during play. Socio-emotional skills are positively linked with children's academic achievement. 8, black children have strong oral narrative and storytelling skills that are part of their cultural roots and supportive of their learning. Oral language and storytelling skills are part of Afrocentric practices, and there is evidence that these skills are related to later reading achievement. Studies show that oral language is a strong skill set of black children compared to other children, and predictive of their early literacy and later school achievement. Number 9, more black children ages 3 to 5 are able to read words in a book compared to other children. Data from Boston, Massachusetts show that 16% of black children are able to read words in a book between the ages of 3 and 5. Furthermore, 38% of black children in this age group recognize all letters of the alphabet, and 69% can count to 20 or higher. And finally, number 10, black students' 4th grade reading proficiency has increased by 36 points since 1971. This was information compiled from an article titled 10 Assets of Black People by Black Press USA. You have been listening to a reading of articles and features from the June 16th issue of the Buffalo Criterion. We read from the Buffalo Criterion every Friday at 7 p.m. Your reader has been Jim Michaely. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the New York Times at 9 o'clock. We have Discover Magazine, and at 10 o'clock, we have episode number 5 of The Shop on Hidden Lane by Jane Ann Krentz. Stay with us. Radio Reading mails out a large print program schedule to our listeners every other month. If you have not received a Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service large print program schedule in the mail, please call us at 716-821-5555. We will make sure that you receive one every other month. A Braille version of the schedule is also available upon request. Our number again is 716-821-5555.
Hello, this is Mark Grier, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the June 18th issue